So my hair is a little pink now, if you needed any hint at my mental state. So hello everyone. I just wanted to sit down and film a quick little update video about my life and what I've been reading and all that stuff, because I am trying to be more consistent on this channel, but I don't have a vlog for you as of right now. I had wanted to participate in the Summerween readathon that my friend Olivia from Olivia Reads a Latte was hosting, I believe with Gabby Reads, the other co-host. But literally like at the start of that readathon, real life kind of got intense. So I'm gonna talk about the life update part first. If you don't care about that, you can skip it. But I really wish I had makeup on because I look so trashy. So I'm pretty sure I've told you guys before that I live in Wisconsin. Never really mentioned my city because there was no need to, but I do live in Kenosha, Wisconsin. For some of you that might already ring a bell now, but if it doesn't, I'm sure you've heard of the shooting by police of Jacob Blake. He was shot 7 times in the back, and the video is absolutely infuriating because there was no reason. And so yeah, that happened in my city, and wow, perhaps you've seen on the news the rioting and the burning of buildings, the shooting that took place that killed 2 people and injured another. So it's been really crazy here. And I'm not saying this and posting this to like get sympathy for myself. I don't want that. I'm not here for like white tears. I think whenever there is a police shooting of an innocent person, particularly Black people, because that's who it mostly happens to, we are all affected, especially the Black community, and it takes a lot on our emotional toll, especially this year because there have been so many protests and riots and everything, which I do think are necessary in order to, you know, show our leaders that we want change. Not just want, we need change. But I never realized how different it is and how intense it is when it's actually happening in your own home. I'm fortunate enough to not live in the part of Kenosha that was really just destroyed during all of this. I used to, actually, the house that I lived in up until, I don't know, not too much of my life, maybe 6 or 7. That house is actually right in the middle of all the action. Everyone has their own stance on rioting and looting, but the reason I'm bringing it up is to talk about how it has just taken my attention completely. Reading this past week has been very tough because I've just been on Facebook refreshing, watching live streams. There were multiple people that have been downtown where everything is happening and shooting live footage of it. The person I watched the most was CJTV. He was a really great live streamer, and I believe he's coming back to the city, and we really appreciate all the footage he got. I was watching him live when, you know, there were fires going on. I was watching when the shooting started, and he actually helped one of the victims. The man who did live, he was shot in the arm, and he probably would have lost it if CJ hadn't put a tourniquet on him. So I know CJ's never gonna see this, but everyone in the city is very grateful to him. It's been very hard to see people, obviously not people that like are in my circle, because I don't have these kind of people in my circle, but people online just saying that the kid, he's 17, but like he knew what he was doing. This kid who came here, who doesn't even live here, and took people's lives, like defending him and wanting to give him money and get him out of jail. It's insane, and it's really hard when your community has been so affected and you're seeing people like supporting a murderer. And it's been hard to see, you know, a place where I grew up so destroyed, specifically because we in Kenosha know that the people that did a lot of the damage aren't actually from Kenosha. We're actually right in the middle of Milwaukee and Chicago, so we had a lot of people coming in from those cities along with all over the country, and there was just damage to places that shouldn't have been. It wasn't like people were looting like a Target. It was like these local businesses that many of them have upstairs units where people and families live. Some of the boards of wood, they would like write on it and say kids live upstairs. Like that was one of the most like heartbreaking photos I think I saw. So people coming here like wouldn't know that this is the case, and people that do live here wouldn't have done it. And I also just think our city hasn't really been shown fairly in the media. I mean, I have a picture of, I think it was from CNN, where it put Kenosha on a map, and it was just completely wrong, first of all. But I think all they're really showing is sort of the violence, and they're not showing the different kind of protests, like the marching, the chanting, the people all coming together. There were some really beautiful moments that I watched on these live streams. A lot of the boards have been painted now with different messages, you know, Black Lives Matter, peace, love, hope, pretty things, all that. Also a lot of fuck Trump, because he's supposed to be coming on Tuesday, even though it's literally only gonna make things worse. Like, we've been peaceful pretty much since the shooting, because I think that really riled everyone. And this isn't me saying that I don't support people protesting in a manner in which they feel is necessary. It was just really hard to see when it's your city and when it's local businesses and people's homes. So that has been a lot. That has been just the only thing on my mind this past week, and it's made reading nearly impossible. So that's why I don't have like a vlog or something better to post than this. So I think I just wanted to also just, like I said, defend my city a little bit. Obviously we have our issues. Our police are racist and horrible. Thankfully Jacob Blake did live, but he is paralyzed from the waist down. But I just don't think the media is showing the good that has come out of this, because there is a lot of good, such as our basketball team, the Bucks. They had boycotted one of their games, and it led to the rest of the NBA and even baseball doing the same. And they've been talking with Wisconsin leaders to work on police reform. But of course all the media wants to show is like destruction and things that only happened the first few nights. Anyway, moving on. Books. So I'm going to have a video coming up when I finish all of my September arcs. I think there's 3 of them. And I'm just gonna sit down and talk about them because I've read one of them already and I didn't vlog it all. I'm in the middle of another, and then I have one more. The one I finished is Watch Over Me by Nina LaCour, so you'll see me talk about that. I'm currently reading When No One Is Watching, I think it's called, by Alicia Cole. I'm in the middle of that one right now. And then I have the sequel to The Raven and the Dove, which is The Hunter and the Mage, I believe. So if you want to see me talk about those books, stay tuned for the next video. I did manage to finish one book during this time. Really thought I would get through this really quickly because it's a book in verse, but like I said, my mind was so sucked into everything that was happening, I literally could not look away. But it's Clap When You Land by Elizabeth Acevedo. This is a book about 2 sisters who don't know about each other. Their father would go back and forth between the Dominican Republic and New York City. So he had kind of like 2 families. He's on a plane when it crashes and there are no survivors. So these 2 finally start to learn about each other. And it's just a really heartwarming, engaging book about family and loss and grief and how messy all of those things can be. As you might have noticed just from that description, I absolutely love this, even though I read it so sporadically, whereas I wanted to read it in like a couple sittings. I still gave it 5 stars. It was absolutely excellent. I have read The Poet X by Elizabeth Acevedo, which was also a 5-star amazing book. Her writing is just so good, especially everything that she's able to pack in a book, you know, like I said, written in verse. This is one of those rare books where I enjoyed both perspectives, because we do get the perspective of each sister. I enjoyed both equally. There wasn't one I wanted to read more, which I said is rare when I'm reading a book with multiple perspectives. I really loved the ending of this. It just completely got my heart, and it was just a great story, very rich culturally. We see a lot of Dominican culture in this, and it was absolutely beautiful. If you haven't read it, I highly recommend. So that's all I really had to talk about. As you see, the reading section was much smaller than the life update section. Mentally, I have just not been the greatest between everything happening in my city and some of my medical stuff and new medications and yada yada yada. It's been kind of rough lately. I think things are getting better. Don't know what's gonna happen when Trump comes tomorrow, which is Tuesday. We've been on a 7 p.m. curfew for like the whole week and it's extended until Tuesday, which is ridiculous because there's not even anyone on the streets anymore. They're just basically using excessive like military force because we have the National Guard here. I think there's FBI here. It's literally insane. But yeah, that is all that I have to say. If you want to keep up with me when I am not, you know, here on the YouTube, my socials are always linked in the thing down there. Twitter, mostly Twitter, sometimes Instagram. But yeah, thank you for watching, especially if you watched all of this, because I mean, if you don't care about my life, obviously I understand this was a reading channel, but I did just want to be able to kind of tell the story of what's happening in my city. And yeah, it's nothing like I've ever experienced before. Absolutely support the protests, and I'm really hoping to see change in our police here in Kenosha because they have a history of being bad. And sheriff or chief or whatever he is freaking sucks, needs to go. It's just so much needs to happen, and I don't know. My camera battery is flashing at me, so that means shut up and end the video. Okay, I'll see you in my next one. Bye.